Today we're talking about System Shock Remake. Strap in as we explore whether this game from the past is still worth your time in 2024. Let's start by talking about the most important part, how the game feels when you play it. In the System Shock Remake, they've kept a lot of what made the original game great, while also adding some new stuff. The levels in the game are designed in a way that encourages you to explore and figure things out. If you pay attention to the details, you'll be rewarded with new discoveries and solutions to problems. They've also made changes to the difficulty settings so that more people can enjoy the game. Even if you're not an expert gamer, you can still have fun playing. The gameplay in System Shock is really engaging. It mixes elements of survival horror with mechanics that make you feel like you're really part of the game world. You'll spend time searching for things you need to survive and figuring out how to get past security systems. Every moment in the game is filled with tension and excitement. One thing that's great about it is that you can choose how you want to approach different challenges. Whether you want to sneak around quietly or face enemies head-on, the game lets you play the way you want. This means that each time you play, you can have a different experience, which keeps things interesting. Let's talk about how you actually control the game and what the menus look like. Getting around Citadel Station is easy because the controls are simple and the menus are easy to understand. When you're playing as a first-person shooter, moving around and aiming your weapon feels really smooth. They've also changed how hacking works in the game to make it more challenging. But there are some things that could make the game even better. For example, managing your inventory, all the stuff you collect in the game, could be easier. It would be helpful if there were clearer signs showing you where important places are in the game. The people who made the game have done a good job of updating the controls to make them more modern while still keeping them similar to the original game. You can even change the controls to fit your preferences. Overall, the controls work well. But there are a few areas where they could be improved, like making the menus easier to navigate and giving better instructions for interacting with things in the game. System Shock has lots of different systems like fighting and solving puzzles. Most of these systems work well together, but some could be a little better with small changes. For example, the hacking game you play might seem strange to some players, and buying and selling things in the game could be easier. But one thing that's really good about the game is how many different things you can do. Whether you're upgrading your character with new abilities or figuring out hidden messages, everything you do in the game feels important. The people who made the game did a good job of making sure it's not too hard to understand. So even if you're not very experienced with games, you can still have fun playing. They've balanced making the game interesting with making sure it's not too complicated for new players. When it comes to the story, you're on a spaceship called Citadel Station, and something has gone very wrong. There's a rogue AI, which is like a computer brain, named Shodan, causing all sorts of trouble. You find out more about what's happening by listening to recordings and looking at the environment around you. Even though the game's story is old, it still feels exciting and important. It takes inspiration from classic cyberpunk stories and keeps you interested from the beginning to the end. The way the story is told makes you feel like you're right there on the spaceship, discovering its secrets. The game's story is like a mix of science fiction and scary stuff, and it's really good at making you feel like you're part of it. As you explore the spaceship and find out what happened, you'll feel like you're in a world that's falling apart. Every recording you listen to and every note you find gives you more clues about what's going on, and it makes you want to keep playing to find out more. In the System Shock Remake, the visuals might have different effects on different people. They've mixed high-definition, HD graphics with an old-school style, which might make some people happy because it's like a nod to the original game. But for others, it might seem a bit strange because it's not consistent throughout the game. But when it comes to the sounds in the game, it's a different story. The developers did a great job with the audio, like the music and the voices of the characters. It helps make the game feel even more real and immersive. Every sound you hear, from the buzzing of the lights to the creepy voice of Shudan, adds to the atmosphere of the game. Even though there are some rough spots in the graphics, overall, the game looks and sounds good. The developers put a lot of effort into updating the visuals while still keeping the feeling of the original game. Everything, from the way the lights flicker in the hallways to the way the characters look, shows how much they care about making the game feel true to its roots. In the end, even with its flaws, the System Shock Remake stays true to what made the original game special. It's clear that the people who made it really loved the original game and wanted to do it justice. It might not be perfect, but it's a great way to pay tribute to a classic game that means a lot to so many people. So, the System Shock Remake worth playing in 2024. It presents a captivating journey through a dystopian future, offering a blend of engaging gameplay, a compelling narrative, and nostalgic charm. Despite its minor flaws, its strengths make it a must-play for fans of the genre. With a rating of 6.5 out of 10, it's worth diving into the cybernetic horror of Citadel Station and experiencing its unforgettable adventure. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the series, this remake delivers an experience that's sure to leave a lasting impact.